no ordinary man. There he is, Tracy Bird, KGFX. Good morning on a Thursday. It's 7:30, and we are broadcasting live from the CHS studio. Come see the cooperative difference at CHS with locations throughout central South Dakota and southern North Dakota. It is time for people in the neighborhood, and that is proudly brought to you by Lee Real Estate and McDonald's. First and foremost, we want to welcome all of our watchers on YouTube as we stream live, and we're going to be talking to some great folks this morning. Let's talk to Shelly Cowan first. Good morning. How are you?
Actually, Casey Hansen.
Casey Hansen, I'm sorry. I got my calendar all mixed up, and I even talked to you yesterday.
That's okay. That's all right.
It's so early in the morning.
It is early.
Please forgive me for that.
I do.
And we've got one of the kids here, too, as well. It's Frank Even.
How's it going?
How early did you guys have to get up to get here this morning?
Oh, we're just staying at the rodeo grounds, so we
okay.
just pulled out like 10 minutes ago.
I thought, my goodness, that's going to be a heck of a drive for them this morning, that's for sure. South Dakota 4-H finals, rodeo, and it's kind of busy over there.
Yeah, we've been at the Stanley County Fairgrounds most of the week setting up, so we just got all the arenas set up last night. That takes a ton of volunteer, work, so shout out to all of them. Other than that, yeah, the people will start pulling in today. Our ambassador horsemanship starts bright and early tomorrow morning at 7:30.
Okay.
So 4 performances begin Friday at 5, Saturday 9 and 5, and then Sunday is the final performance at 10. So yeah, we have a busy weekend coming up.
This is something we talked about, a year's worth of work put into this for these kids, and I bet you they're just exhausted by the end of the weekend.
Well, I'm super exhausted. So, kids probably have a little bit better stamina than me. But, actually to plan the rodeo, I look forward to rodeo weekend. I'm glad when we hit, Sunday evening and I'm at my own home. And then we have 2 months where, none of us in the planning committee, maybe think about next year's rodeo. And then we start in October and we start planning all over again. So it is a super big function to plan, organize, and put on.
Let's talk to Frank just a little bit. Frank, what do you do in the rodeo?
I'm going to team rope at the 4-H finals this weekend.
We talk about how it's like a year-round process for you guys. Give me kind of an idea of the practice schedule which it's got to be tough to keep yourself on a practice schedule, right?
Yeah, it is pretty hard to keep on a practice schedule. Most of the time, we'll just find a few days out of the week, usually 2 or 3, that work, and we'll just rope from anywhere from 8:30 to 10:30.
How is it physically now? You're into other sports, wrestling, things like that. How is rodeo compared physically for you as far as the workouts and having to be in shape?
For rodeo, I at least really don't have to be in shape at all. I can kind of do whatever I want. So
You're just
that's
throwing a
always
rope,
nice.
right?
Yep.
You don't have to lift any big weights or anything like that.
Not really.
Well, that's great. What are you looking forward to this weekend? Are you looking for a personal best, a personal goal, a time, or what are you going after?
I'm just here to have fun, I guess.
All right. Well, we look forward to watching you perform. And what's your favorite part, other than performing yourself? What do you like to watch when you're a spectator?
I usually like watching bareback because there's only like 1 or 2. But
And they usually put on a pretty good show, too,
yeah,
don't they?
they usually have a good time.
Well, Frank Even, folks, we look forward to watching you, and we'll be rooting for you, for sure. And folks get to see you on YouTube now, too, so definitely tune in, folks, and check it out. Let's talk just a little bit more now about, you mentioned earlier about how much help that you've got. Is it mostly parents? Is it family members? Who do you work with for the most part?
Oh, I would say a lot of it are, people who currently, have, kids in the rodeo system, maybe a higher percentage, 30, 40% of our help are people who just recently got kids out of the 4-H rodeo system and, kind of want to pay back and help because people did it for their kids. So we do have some people who, ironically, maybe aren't, rodeo people come forward and certainly they're really helpful. So just a tremendous amount of volunteer support, to put this on.
It's going to be a lot of fun, and I know that you guys have worked really hard for this. Weather permitting, I think you're going to have some filled stands over there too, and that helps out a lot, doesn't it, having a packed crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. Our fees to get in are pretty reasonable. If you're 7 and under, it's free. If you're 8 and above, it's $8 for a performance, or you can just get a $20 wristband, for the entire weekend. So that's pretty reasonable. Performances last, 2.5, 3 hours. And again, that starts Friday at 5 and ends Sunday at 10 a.m. And then we do Saturday at 2:30, we have our second annual special needs rodeo for special needs contestants. So that's always, something to come and watch our 4-H contestants, helping people who, wouldn't get the opportunity to do some rodeo events. And we have some things going on there. So there's something always going on, really, at the Stanley County Fairgrounds this weekend for 4-H rodeo.
Casey, do you see the ages getting younger and younger each year? I was watching a video the other day of a 2-year-old getting led around the barrels. I mean, is it getting younger every year?
Well, 4-H, age 8 to 18, is our, criteria. But I mean, it's true. Like, a lot of these kids, have been riding since they were, tiny, since they were old enough to, sit up by themselves. So there's some pretty good, hands. I mean, you can't discount those, 8-year-olds. I mean, they can fly on some horses, and and then 8-year-olds, riding, rough stock. I mean, that's impressive in itself. So certainly, I love to watch the little ones. There's nothing cuter than that. And I love to watch the older ones because, a lot of them leave our state to go on to, college rodeo or even, pro rodeo in the summer. So
another thing I've noticed too is the photography that you are starting to see now. It's really getting amazing. If you go on the internet and you start looking at these 4-H finals rodeos, there's some great photography. I mean, are you guys hiring people to do that, or is it just parents getting better cameras?
Well, we at the 4-H finals, I mean, we do have a photographer. Starography comes out of, Watertown for us, and they set up a shop there. But yeah, there just has gotten to be a tremendous amount of photographers, and some of them are parents, coming in. And I mean, how tremendous. I would have to say, sometimes your summer sports, you lose out on those photographers following. We see it in football, you see it in basketball, but, in the last couple of years, boy, at the end of the year, I can go through Facebook or on the internet and I can find thousands of pictures of my kids, because I don't have time, to carry a camera around to, take pictures of them competing. So it's been tremendous.
Well, this is great. How much longer are you going to be president, and then what after that? Are you going to stay involved, I would imagine? Yeah,
presidency is a 2-year term, so I have one more 4-H finals, so the 2019 4-H finals will be my last finals to serve as president, and then always in some capacity, you're still helpful since you know how the system runs after that. So it's been great, and I obviously am not great at carrying panels, but I can do some other things, and the amount of people who've stepped forward to help me has been tremendous as well.
I bet folks enjoy working with you, and you get a lot of work done, huh?
Well, I don't know if people say that all the time, but we get a lot of work done, so.
All right. Frank, couple more questions. Are you superstitious? Do you do certain things? Do you got like something in one of your pockets, anything like that?
Not really.
What do you eat before a performance? Is there a certain thing that if you had your choice, you'd have this as your meal before you get out there and throw?
Not really, just a hamburger.
You are just a laid-back dude.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty easy going. There you go. Well, this is good stuff. I can't thank you guys enough for coming in here, South Dakota 4-H Finals Rodeo. The main thing is to show up, right?
Absolutely. I mean, come out and, see the kids and, see the beautiful horses there. It should be a nice weekend with some good temps. So there's good lunch stand food provided by the Stanley County Wrestling, AAU wrestling program, so. And then there's a lot of stuff going on over in Fort Pierre this weekend, so it'll be a place to be.
Well, definitely. We appreciate you guys coming in. It's the president, Casey Hansen, and, of course, the big man himself, Frank Even. Very laid-back dude.
Thanks.
There you go, folks. There you go. It's people in the neighborhood. On a Thursday, 7:39, proudly brought to you by Lee Real Estate and also brought to you by McDonald's.
This is Meredith Lee, broker-owner of Lee Real Estate. Did you know that we now have 7 realtors to help you buy or sell your home? So when your Lee Real Estate agent is out of town, at a baseball game, busy with a different appointment, or stuck on grandma duty, a different qualified team member can still show you. That way you don't miss out on any new listings that hit the market. We are around